Well, hello. My name is Mark Holmes, and I am a YouTuber, or I guess you could say an influencer, but I'm not sure how many people I actually influence. I have been doing YouTube for 9 years. It's hard for me to even fathom that I've been doing it that long. And I have somewhere in the neighborhood of 17,000 videos out there, which is blowing my mind. And to think that I've had over on my main channel right now 73 million views, and I think 19 million views on my other channel. So I'm closing into 100 million views, which literally I am surprised and very, very thankful for. And this YouTube journey has been very, very interesting, and I've seen it evolve a lot. Here's the thing that's great news if you are a YouTuber is YouTube is growing like crazy. YouTube, unbelievably, when you look at all of the watch time that's going on, be it the cable networks, ABC, NBC, and CBS, Fox Sports, Disney, when you think of Netflix, when you think of all of the different platforms, YouTube is the most watched. Let me say that again. YouTube is the most watched. With 11.6% of all watch time that people are doing, they're watching YouTube. In fact, you right now are part of that, watching me. It's crazy that I'm part of the biggest media outlet in the world, followed by Disney, and then I think Fox, and then Netflix. With that, unfortunately, here's the downside of YouTube. Because they're the biggest platform, now everybody is coming to YouTube. See, when I started out in 2016, as far as Cowboys content creator, there were about 10 that you really knew, between like Law Nation and Vash Lombardi, myself, Shango, and some other ones. Now, my God, there has to be a couple of hundreds. And that doesn't even count now all the AI stuff. And I am about sick to death of AI content, because you don't know what AI content is actually real, and you hear a story about something, about something that sounds kind of crazy. Is that real or is that AI? And to give you an example, I've used AI asking about the history of this house, knowing that I know the history of this house. And 4 different asks gave me 4 completely different answers, none of which are anywhere close to the real history of the house. With all that being said, YouTube, typically when you say, what do you do for a living? I say, I am a content creator or a YouTuber, and I'm a general contractor, and this, that, and the other. What you typically get from people is, oh, when are you going to get a real job? Well, by definition, what is a real job? What is a real job? YouTube, believe me, it should be more of a hobby, because there's too many variables. Say, as people say, you should get a real job. Well, with a real job, you can have stability provided the company is going well. You can probably get benefits. They end up having HR and things. As a social media person, as a content creator, you are an independent contractor. You get a 1099, which means you're responsible if you make any money. that's the key thing there. If you make any money. And out of all of the YouTube creators out there, and there's over 60 million channels, that have content. 60 million. Only about 14% of them are monetized. Yeah, 14%. Only about 2% of the YouTube channels are making six figures. And the reality of YouTube is you can be here today and gone tomorrow. And you constantly have to perform. As in, you have to get people to watch. And that's not an easy thing. A lot of people will tell you, get your ass on YouTube and you're going to make all this YouTube money. Well, there are people out there like Mr. Beast that are making tons and tons of money. There are. But that's a very, very small percentage. And getting people to watch, in that same sense where I was saying only 14% of the channels are monetized, only about 14% of the videos consumed get more than 1,000 views. So here's what I'll tell you. I've been blessed. I have a couple of different channels. One channel is my day job, which I do construction work, and I've got things that I've done in the Smithsonian Institute, completely rebuilding this house right here. Every phase of it. It's a 200-year-old historic house, which I think is actually pretty interesting, but it's not gotten that many views. And having content out of it, it's not hard to get. My main channel is actually a lot easier because I found something I am very, very passionate about, which is the Dallas Cowboys. And doing that content, people want to know. And so that channel does very, very well. I have another channel that is a cooking channel because I just enjoy cooking and passing on. And of course, there's this one that I've started, which is, I can say, I don't think this channel will ever be monetized. And I'm okay with that because this is just me giving my thoughts and me kind of giving back to YouTube. YouTube's been very hard. I'm not going to lie to you. I've had people that have trolled me, doxed me, and things that have not been good, my family even. And that's a scary thing because there are some crazy people out there. But on the flip side, there are so many people that I have met that are now lifelong friends that no amount of money that I could make on YouTube could ever replace those relationships. And that's a fact. And my thought to you is, if you're going to start a YouTube channel, you got to start it the right way. And that is finding something that you're passionate about and you're knowledgeable about. Or be really pretty. Yeah, if you're really pretty, you can actually get a lot of views that way. But I'm not pretty. I'm not pretty at all. So that didn't work for me. But have something you're passionate about and go into it to have fun, to try and share some knowledge. And that way, your passion will show. And third, be you. People know if you're real or not, and if you're fake. Be you, be passionate about what you do, and enjoy what you do. And I can't guarantee you that you're going to be Mr. Beast or do well or hell, even get monetized. But those are things that have worked for me, and I think it's been good for my soul. Because if I looked at this and said, I've got to get, 1 million views this month so I can pay my bills or this, that, and the other, the pressure of trying to perform and get that content would end up being overwhelming. But if you have the attitude that I'm going to be me and I'm going to have fun, and if you mess up, it's okay, because I'm a name butcher. I don't read well out loud. I'm not good looking. My hair is usually pretty nappy. Um, I make a lot of mistakes. I don't do a lot of editing. But that's me. And that's what works for me. So you figure out who you are and you put it on YouTube. And I bet you'll be successful. Have a great day. And I enjoy, like my dad used to, sitting out on the front porch. Love watching the sunset. Have a great day.